Esau is the end of the age, and Jacob is the beginning of a new phase. Remember when they made us slaves, then packed whip on the ships and then they cart us away. Millions in the watery grave.
As a kid, some of the stuff growing up in New York that you had to go through, where I began to world build in my head, and I guess that was a coping mechanism to I grew up in front of a TV. That's how I would find escapism, was television and movies and cartoons and stuff. And I was always, I guess, building that in my head, practicing it as a kid, and it just never left. I love to world build, I love to create, worlds of my own. I guess that's probably why I was drawn to Star Wars so much as a child. Like, Star Wars was like a love language to me, just building, creating a world and fastening it in a way that you would want to see it, you would want to do it. One of the creators that's really influencing me is Robert Eggers, and I just think the guy's brilliant. He treats folklore as fact, which is incredible. Spike Lee, I'm always going to give him his flowers, because without Spike Lee, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. He proved that it was doable, especially as an African-American filmmaker, and he went through all the hell. So other filmmakers that look like me now, it's not that it's easy, but we don't nearly have it as hard as he had and what he had to go through. Michael Mann is a masterclass on urban architecture and storytelling and city storytelling and gray morality. He makes the greatest villains I've ever seen on film, outside of Darth Vader. It's a masterclass on tone and mood, and what Michael Mann does. Another modern master for me is Barry Jenkins, who did Moonlight and If Beale Street Can Talk. And If Beale Street Can Talk is a moving painting. If you've never seen that film, in terms of the production value, the cinematography, the lighting, the acting, the costume design, the art direction, and the score. But just visually, it's a moving painting. It's like something out of an African-American art gallery. Very good use of shadows and light. Chiaroscuro, Ernie Barnes is one of my favorite painters. If you've ever seen the closing credits of Good Times with the that final screen, that's an Ernie Barnes painting. And I particularly like that type of lighting, because I gravitate towards thrillers. And that era in Dutch Impressionism made a great use of light and shadows and darkness. And naturally, if you look at any paintings from that era, they look like they screen grabs from some sort of thriller, or psychological thriller. And I just gravitated towards that. That's like my favorite type of stuff. I'm currently working on a project called Convergence, which is it's new for me. It's a sci-fi thriller, and it's all things kind of occult and supernatural, hauntings, things in the woods, extraterrestrial stuff. And I've always loved that type of thing. X-Files is one of my favorite shows. And with Convergence, as the title suggests, I kind of created this world where all those things kind of collide. We just shot the first part of it, where there's 2 more parts to go. And it's very, very, very much kind of a mixed love letter to X-Files and Twilight Zone and things like that. And, just even American folklore, things that take place in woods or in Appalachia, and some of the stuff that I experienced and learned about Caribbean folklore. So putting all those things together into one world was fascinating to me.